It's been exactly 1 week.
We are live. Hello. It's going to be our first commenter. I can't see anything yet. What is pop-out chat?
I don't know.
Kind of want to click that and see what happens. But I'm nervous. Tina, Maria, Lazy J Homestead. Hello. How are you guys doing? Oh, we just came in from outside. It is very, very hot. Very hot outside. Oh, I'm on our Wi-Fi. I need to not do that. Thank you, Gabby. Hey, Green Dream Project. Carly. How are y'all doing? Pink Red Apple Yard. I would like to know the story behind that name. Yeah, we've just been outside. It's really, really warm. And we were just, oops, you got to mute it.
I thought I did.
Actually just planted the planter box around at the chicken coop, little window box. Hey, Stivers, Andrew, hey, April, Kira, starting to pick up here. Danielle, Michelle, how are y'all doing? How's everybody doing? Is everybody like keeping cool, not melting? It is so hot. We actually, today, my aunt and uncle and cousins came out. And so I got to show them around our farm. And we got to go through the garden and see the alpacas. But it was so hot. They were here in the afternoon. They drove up from South Arkansas today. And so by the time they got here, it was the middle of the afternoon. And oh my gosh, it was so hot. And so then you went out and worked. Oops. What are you doing? I don't know what you're doing. Hey, there's Lauren. Oh, it looks like the chat picked up. It was kind of slow there for a second. Little Garden Big Dreams. Hello from Australia. How cool. We're in Australia. Hey, there's Bree. How are you?
What?
Bree, who came here. She lives in Arkansas, and she came here for my essential oils class.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Going in the band?
She brought the cucumbers.
The ones in the band?
I don't remember noticing when anybody drove, so. Yeah, it is melting hot, to be certain. I know that it's like getting crazy hot some places, and it hasn't been too terribly bad here. But, I mean, like more than usual. It's usually hot, so we're kind of used to it. But it has been really difficult to be outside in the afternoons. Wow, Little Garden Big Dreams, a sunny winter's day in Australia. That's so nuts. I know that during the winter, my Australian friends are the ones who, like, their feed of their gardens growing just, like, keeps me hanging on through the winter. Hey, Sewing Your Heart. Making lemonade from lemons. Hello, working on your salsa. I need to make a good deal of salsa. Michelle Clark from Murfreesboro, Tennessee. Welcome. I'm so glad you got to make it. Been through Murfreesboro several times. I used to spend a lot of time in Nashville. I used to live in Knoxville. So Heirloom Permaculture. Hey, how are you guys doing? Heirloom Permaculture came down, which y'all see in the vlog later this week, but they actually came down this weekend and spent some time with us and brought us some chicken. So that was really awesome. It was a really nice time getting to hang out with them. We always love the time we get to spend with their family. There's Two Family Homestead. I'm kind of like making my way back up. Mountain Heritage Homestead. Thank you so much for that. We have not gone and checked our P.O. box in a little while. We need to go do that. We are really bad about going because that's the main reason we go into that town is to check the P.O. box. So sometimes we don't get to it every couple weeks. Yeah, it's definitely multiple people are saying that they're melting, and
yeah, it's pretty rough.
It's very. Somebody said their connection is being laggy. I really hope our internet doesn't do what it did last time, which it was storming.
It shouldn't, but we can't promise anything.
Yeah. Talia, I don't know if I'm saying that right. Hello from Oregon. I've been watching a while and I've always thought I couldn't garden. I'm moving up to Seattle soon, so I won't be able to start until I get there. Well, you can garden, and I hope that you will try. Hey, there's my mom. Hey, Mom. What?
Hey, it's my mom.
It's my mom. Thank you. That was so sweet. Someone said we deserve a beautiful life. Letitia. Hey, girl. Thank you for that super chat. I'll see you tomorrow. Actually, today is Letitia's birthday.
Oh, happy birthday, Letitia.
Yes, happy birthday. If y'all will wish my friend Tisha happy birthday. She's a sweet, precious friend of mine that I'm so happy to be friends with. We don't get to spend a whole lot of time together, but I actually get to go see her tomorrow, and I'm really excited about that. Single Dad Homestead. Yeah, several people are saying the connection is good, so that's good. We had to cut it early last week because it would not stop buffering, but it was storming, and we live way out in the middle of nowhere, so. Yeah. So you might hear Ben and Ezra. They're actually the only kids we have here today. Usually, like, all our kids are here, and either my mom comes and hangs out with them, or if our big kids are here, they'll take the kids to the back and, like, watch a movie or something. But it's just Ben and Ezra, and so we're keeping them in the same general space as us, but they're just playing. A snake bean preview. I will be sharing what I do with those soon. I just haven't done anything with them yet. We cut one of them open today. The outside of them smells weird. And I was like, I just don't really know if this is going to be any good. But one of the big ones, we actually
wear it during the live.
Oh my God.
Really accentuates my neck veins.
So, like, this one, is this the one I broke open? No. I don't think it is. The bigger one is the one I broke open.
It smells like
a cucumber. It smells like a cucumber inside. Really surprised me. So I'm actually been looking up some recipes and stuff, and I'm going to share what I'm doing with those. And I actually have a couple out there that I'm just letting them get as big as they can and just see what happens. I'm mostly just growing these as a curiosity. What's my favorite breed of chickens? Yeah, you guys, if you want to ask some questions, make sure you put them in all caps so we can see them. The chat's actually not flying right now, which is a good thing, but
yeah, it's pretty good.
What's my favorite breed of chickens? Probably just any colorful egg layers, like Crested Cream leg bars or Americanas or Marins that lay the dark chocolate eggs. Any of those would be ones that I really like. But honestly, our production reds are really impressing me right now because they just lay really well. And we just got some new heritage breeds from Heirloom Permaculture that are just really pretty and adding some variety to our flock. Wow, 114 degree heat in Virginia, Whitney. That's crazy. My tomatoes are dying miserably, but they do that. So a lot of them. Like I've yet to garden where I had tomatoes into August, and I do the things right that you're supposed to. And I've talked to a lot of people in the area, and a lot of people have told me that it's a similar thing. This year is worse than. You need some water? You okay? I'm genuinely asking. You look at me crazy. But this year is particularly bad because we keep getting these little rain showers that last like 5 minutes and literally just shoot it out to 100 degree or 100% humidity. It's crazy. What was it that I held up, Breezy Mine? This is a python snake bean. I got the seeds from Baker Creek. It's actually a gourd relative. This is a big one. You harvest them before this to eat, but I let some of them grow because I just wanted to see what would happen. And there are some out there that are like 3 times that size now. The outside of them smells weird. Oh. Carly Carlson, how do you fertilize tomatoes using Solube's water soluble? I don't know. I haven't used that, but with like a gallon sprayer, really with most water soluble fertilizers, it should say whether it's a foliar spray, which would be something you spray on the leaves, or that you water with it. And you would probably put a measure of that into the water and water with it like along the root systems. Like you don't want to wet tomato leaves. So probably watering the root system with it. And I don't know how often and all that stuff, but it should tell you how often on there. I actually have not fertilized my plants at all this year. So, I mean, I put compost on at the beginning of every year, and that's usually about all I do. Did y'all get a lot of rain from Barry? Of Yeah,
with
like
3
last
days.
last weekend we were getting a good bit. Wow, they're just getting ready to start their plants for spring in Australia. Isn't that crazy? Lauren,
That is
you
kinda
haven't
cool.
gotten any tomatoes from your plants? That's crazy. Well, I've got plenty. You can have some more if you want. What does it smell like? Where I said it smells weird? I don't know. What does it smell like? Sorry. Jeremiah doesn't have a very strong sense of smell.
That is weird.
What do I smell of this being on this video? It's weird, huh?
Kind of smells like bread.
No, that does not smell like bread.
It is.
I don't know. It's just a weird smell. I don't know how to describe it.
I'll grow some and smell it.
Grampy Campies.
What's up, Jason?
Or Lorraine.
It's usually Jason.
Hey guys, hey Sodaland. How do you keep tomato plants happy over winter? You just have to keep them where they don't freeze. And they typically do best if you keep them above 50 degrees. So if you're trying to keep them through the winter, you need to keep them in a place where they get enough light. And I mean, plenty of people grow inside with artificial light. So
yeah.
A Bama gardener got your toad suck shirt on tonight. That's awesome. We live right outside Conway, Arkansas, and there's a festival here every year called Toad Suck Days, and there's toad races and all the stuff. But there's actually an area here that's called Toad Suck. That's the name of the. I don't guess it's really a town, but
yeah.
So that's a big.
What is your favorite tomato this season?
Paul Robeson, I think, is really kind of making his way to the top.
Salsa.
Huh?
That's mine. Salsa.
Oh my goodness. He doesn't care what kind it is as long as it comes in the form of salsa. And Dr. Witchies, which I know I'm saying it wrong. I get corrected on that at least 25 times a week on saying that wrong. However, I have finally committed to just saying it wrong because of the fact that I get corrected by multiple people telling me the right way to say it. And there are at least 3 different camps that say it's supposed to be Dr. Wishes or Weiches or Weishes or Weich or what was the other? There's a few, and people literally are like, I just laugh my butt off when I hear you say that because you're completely wrong. Here's how you actually say it. But then they say all different ways. And I was like, you know what? I'm calling it Dr. Witchies. I understand that it's wrong, but...
So is everyone else.
Well, right. But it's being grown in a lot of gardens. And so it's okay. The tomato lives on. That's the important thing. That is probably one of my all-time favorite tomatoes. Like, it just is so good. But Paul Robeson and that one, and climbing triple crop is kind of becoming a pretty hard staple in my garden. Don't quit, commit. There you go. Mr. Stripey is really good. I don't know if I've grown German stripe. That doesn't sound familiar to me, Black Pack Homestead. But Mr. Stripey is good, and I'm growing it this year. It doesn't produce a ton. Someone said, you say, who was that? Little Garden Big Dreams. You say tomato, I say tomato. That's good.
Favorite kind of okra? Texas Hill Country? Probably
Texas Hill Country. I also really just like Clemson Spineless. It's kind of a tried and true. It's one of the more common ones, but probably Texas Hill Country. It's real wide. Dr. Witchies forever. Yes.
Also, actually, that could be a shirt. Make sure you put little apostrophes where you need a little accents. Take them off.
My friend Amanda calls it the good doctor. I'm like, yeah, that's good. I don't know. And now I'm self-conscious about it, though, because I've been corrected so, like,
what?
Incessantly, and then also sometimes very rudely. And so now every time I say it, I'm like, I feel like the need to explain that I know that I'm saying it wrong, but I'm just committed. So I need to just let it go.
Yeah, I would.
I will tell you that if you are a largely uneducated Arkansas girl that's learned most things by reading, and you start a YouTube channel, you will learn exactly how wrong you are on everything that you mispronounce. Like, just so you know, like that it will happen. So, My okra survived the slugs, so just waiting for them to shoot up. There may be a footish tall right now. Boldly Grow Homestead, that they will shoot up, especially as it gets like hotter. They love the heat. My okra is going nuts right now. Thank you, April. I know so many people call them. So many people are calling them witchies now, and it's funny because I started trying to correct it, and literally multiple people then were like, "Hey, don't mess it up. Like, just leave it." Ariane, my Wilder Still tattoo right here. This is actually my handwriting, for those of you who might not know that. But that's my handwriting. And that's just from something that I felt like God told me a long time ago, that if essentially I was in a period of my life where I was going through a lot of inner healing and recognizing a lot of things in myself that were broken and addressing them, like wrong mindsets about who God was and who he said I was. And in addressing the broken things, I was finding these greater revelations of God's love. And it was just absolutely blowing my mind how incredibly precious that he is. And the more that I would address, the more my mind would be blown. And the more that I would find him, the more that I would want him. And then the more that I would want him, the more that I would find him. And there was just this like ongoing cycle of like more and more and more. And every moment I thought, how can there even be more? There would be more. And I really like came to this revelation that like there's always wilder still. And there's always deeper still. And if we're willing to go deep, that and address the boundaries that we put on God and the limitations that we put on God and the mindsets that we put on God, that there's always another step. There's always a step further and a step further and a step further. And so that's what wilder still means. So yeah.
Okay, crazy. What is a ground cherry? Is it a tomato?
Thank you for the super chat, Chris. A ground cherry is actually like a cherry-sized tomatillo. Super, super sweet, kind of tropical tasting, very fruity, grows in a husk, just like a tomatillo, but they don't get bigger than like cherry tomato size, like a small cherry tomato. So that's what it is. Karen Birch, and educated, not obviously. We're here learning from you, aren't we? That is just another testimony of how God uses anybody. I actually do not hold a high school diploma. Like, that's the actual truth about me. But that's not who I am. I did through a loophole end up attending some college classes, but by the world standards, I am 100% uneducated. But that doesn't mean that I'm not a student and always will be a student. And that's how like God does. He uses the simple things to confound the wise. So
is it hard to start fall seeds outside because of the heat? Yeah, we couldn't start out seeds.
I started them on a windowsill.
Yeah, inside, downstairs, somewhere.
Mel Davis. I will have to double check and look and see. We get a lot of mail, and I try to send thank you notes, and I don't always get to send them, but I do have a stack of mail. And we also have to check our to check our mailbox.
Little Creek.
Oh, Little Creek Homestead. Hey, girl. Mark, getting ready to start more squash and possibly green beans. Do it. I have so much more success with summer squash in the fall. Can I do a draw my life video? I don't know what that is. I'll have to look that up.
What is a tomatillo?
A tomatillo is just another fruit. Like, it's similar to a tomato. It's in the nightshade family. It's what, like, if you go to a Mexican restaurant and get salsa verde, that's typically made with tomatillos. They're green when they're ripe, and they grow in husks. And they're really good. I have chosen a name for all the hens, Heather Foley. I'm going to call them the Lucy's. That was the most suggested name, and I really like it since I still have one of my Ethels. So I'll have the Lucy's, and I'll still have Ethel. Wow, Lauren said, I learned Dr. Witchy actually called the tomato hot yellow, but it was renamed in his honor when he died. That's really cool. Martha H. said to Chris, Simplify. Her hubby said, Chris, Simplify.
Go.
Somebody else asked about the hymns, but I answered that. Okay, I'm trying to go
There's
down.
a super chat you need to address.
Oh, thank you so much, Black Pack Homestead. Blessing coming round. I appreciate that so much. Where'd that sneaky boy come from? You want to say hi? Say hi. You want to sit here with us?
You got a bunch of dirt on your face.
You are. He's filthy. Look at this boy. You look like a farm boy. People said, hi, Ben. You remember our friends that were over here yesterday? They were over here with their girls. They said, Ben Man.
There's Kaylee. She just signed on Honeystead.
Oh, hey, Kaylee.
Okay.
I gotta be.
We've sold our first pig. It's unborn yet.
Oh, yeah, we
your
did.
cousin.
We're going to be raising one for my cousin. He is my little helper. And, I just kissed him, and he is salty. He's been playing outside. You filthy boy. You need a bath. No, I can't have a bath right now. We're doing this. You can ask Aunt KK to give you a bath, but she doesn't have to. You might just have to wait. Thank you, the farm at Homestead Cove. So, Ben,
Ben showed up in the chat.
Someone said tomato boy.
Tomato boy.
What's your
Dinosaur boy.
favorite tomato? We were talking about our favorite tomato. What's your favorite tomato? What color?
Every tomato.
Every tomato. Do you like the big ones or the little ones?
Big one.
Big ones.
Both of them.
Both of them. What would be your favorite way to eat tomatoes? Do you like eating them plain? Do you like tomato sandwiches? Daddy likes salsa. What's your favorite?
All of them.
All of them? Okay.
Even
So we like
salsa?
all the tomatoes. We like both of the sizes, and we like to eat them all of the ways, pretty much is what Ben is coming down to. Benjamin eats tomato sandwiches every day if I let him, don't you?
You need a plate because the tomato sandwiches are so juicy.
We need a plate because tomato sandwiches are so juicy. If y'all didn't catch that, that's what he said. How do we prevent bug bites? We use essential oils, which
Terrashield?
work mostly. Like that works pretty well.
No,
Now-
it's very, very effective.
The main thing is you have, obviously, I mean, with any sort of bug stuff, you just have to remember to
Put it on.
on whenever you go
Whenever
out.
I coat my legs and stuff, I'll go out and I won't get mosquito bites or ant bites or even
Yeah.
flies flying around. It keeps
We
things
do a
pretty low.
mix with, and I use doTERRA essential oils, but there's a mix that I put together, and it's TerraShield, which sometimes we just use that on its
Benjamin,
own.
come here.
We just put the TerraShield on by itself, and it's already like mixed, but you can dilute it further. And I'll make a spray that has the TerraShield in it as well as geranium oil and lemongrass oil. And I just keep like a spray bottle outside, a spray bottle
Someone
inside.
wanted to ask you something. Come here. Hey, someone on
Yeah.
here has a new black cat. They got a brand new kitty and it's black. And they said, what would you name it? What do you think? A black cat.
I got the name.
Just come up with a name. What would you think? You can come up with it. It can be your name. You just make it up.
Thank you, Amber, for that from Fort Hood, Texas.
What do you think?
I don't know.
Well, what are some things you
tell
can
me
talk? I'll give you a suggestion.
Somebody was asking about the doTERRA stuff. My friend Lauren is on here. She's actually on my doTERRA team. So, like, Lauren, maybe if you could just put an email up if anybody is interested in that, that might be something good that they could email. And you guys can talk to them. Okay, I saw a green tomato salsa verde recipe on Gather blog. You might like. Cool, Heather. Thank you. I'll put a note of that down. I always end up with like a little note thing open on my phone for my lives because I write down all of the ideas y'all give me. I seriously, like, I mean it. Whenever my YouTube friends, like, you guys help me so
No, you
much, and I
tell it.
learn so much.
You
from y'all.
tell it.
Okay, Ben says, oh, no, you tell it.
Not you.
Okay, you want to take your bath?
Yeah.
Tell him so you can go take your bath. Jando, what'd you come up with?
Get it back.
Kitty Black. I like it. Best one.
Kitty Black. That's
very fancy.
That's not his best work.
That's pretty good.
Carson Jarton.
Kitty Black is just as good as Carson Jarton. It's a black cat. Kitty Black. That's gonna stick. I promise you. Even if they don't name it Kitty Black, everyone will be on here next week. Like, how's Kitty Black?
How are the strawberries doing? They're doing good. They're still in the kiddie pool and they're coming along. The bees? How are the bees?
Beezy.
They're all in there. They're
The
building comb. They're sticking around. So I guess
bees.
Yep. Very good. Where is Daniel? Daniel actually doesn't live here. Daniel lives in Alabama, and so he's just at home.
Or doing something. I don't
Yeah,
know.
he visits us like once every couple months, usually. Sometimes a little bit more often, and sometimes he doesn't get here that often. But he usually comes down for a weekend every 2 or 3 months.
You still had a gold shop?
No. Hey,
Morgan's on
Morgan.
here.
What's up, man? I'd love to learn some canning from you. I have a lot of canning that I need to do.
Vegans at all.
No, we're not vegans. We are really trying to transition this year, however, to only eating meat we eat grow. So that's really cool. And we do eat quite a lot of meatless meals too. So we're not like
Purplish beans or noodle beans, right? Long beans, yeah. Noodle
Daddy. He
beans.
needs to tell you something.
What?
Oh, heirloom permaculture. Whoa, is heirloom permaculture? He's not eating bread. Yeah, you can dehydrate cherry tomatoes. You can dehydrate any tomatoes. Dehydrated tomatoes are great.
Oh, God.
Chrissy Cox. My necklace is a dove, I believe. I don't know if I think it's a dove. It's just a bird. And it is from a company called Lovishly, which I'm not at all promoted or affiliated by or whatever. But I've just had necklaces for them for a lot of years. I really like their stuff. And they promote charities with them. And this one is called Free. And the charity that this necklace supported was getting women out of sex trafficking. So that's what this necklace is for. It's a freedom necklace. And I like birds. I don't know if you could tell that by all the birds that are permanently inked onto my skin. Let's see. What is the name of your purplish long beans? I might have my lady talked into them next year. Timothy, those are just the Chinese red noodle beans from Baker Creek. The long ones, like the really long ones. And then I also did the purple potted pole beans, but both of those seeds are from Baker Creek. See, people do like Kitty Black.
Told you. I told you. Ben does not fail.
You guys have inspired me to just plant. I'm growing a ton of tomatoes next year. I'm going to attempt some heirloom varieties. That's awesome, Shannon. That is so cool. I love hearing that.
I can't tell if we have like really clever trolls or people are just really being kind of like some weird questions. Like, who's your favorite child? I'm like, you can't ask that.
Oh, do I need to explain how you can love all of your kids different, but love all of them equally? It is really interesting when you have multiple kids, how much your ability to love them multiplies and how interestingly different your relationships with them can be, but all just as valuable.
Grandy's Garden. Bye, Grandy's Garden.
Bye, Grandy's Garden. Thank you guys for stopping in.
Jess is your favorite child, Maya. I would take offense to that, but that would be a lie.
Oh my goodness. If you could only grow one kind of tomato next year, what would it be?
One kind of tomato? Dr. Witchies.
Truly, if I really genuinely had to pick one kind of tomato, it probably would be Dr. Witchies. Because that's just, you just so cannot get those. So if I had to choose one, that would probably be it. And they also just produce so much. But if I had to choose one and grow just one, if I had 100, can you imagine if I had 100 plants of Dr. Witchies?
Oh, man.
That would be so, like the table would just be covered in yellow tomatoes. We'd have jars and jars of yellow tomatoes, yellow salsa.
As long as it tastes good, I don't care what color it is.
I love the variety though. When I can my tomatoes, I take all of these, I put them together. And so like my jars of canned tomatoes, like diced tomatoes that I put in soups throughout this winter and chilies and all that, they're
No,
multicolored.
I will say this: as we're progressing in our gardening efforts and adding more things to do and getting into more of like real, like we've said before, like our current garden is not like the most efficient to produce food, but we would like to have gardens that do produce just what's efficient for food and canning and things like that. Like, you can still do your varieties and then choose a couple of tomatoes that were good for like mass production. Dr. Rich's would be a good one.
Like I'll probably plant multiple Arkansas Travelers next year just because they stand up to the humidity so much better. But the tomatoes themselves I don't love, but they would be fine for like diced tomatoes or salsa when you're putting other stuff in. Yeah, Living Traditions Homestead has tons of information on canning. She's kind of like the canning boss.
She's the most industrious person ever.
Yeah, Kevin and Sarah are so impressive, and like they just really impress me and inspire me so much. Hey, 180 degrees from average.
So sorry I'm late packing up Aubrey to make a sanitation run. I was like,
nice.
What? He's got to drop the poop.
I'm working on a book and really like trying to discipline is really hard for me. And I know that sounds crazy because I do get a lot done. And like right now, like we spend a lot of time like doing YouTube and obviously the garden, and you see these things that require a lot of work. And so people don't like, I get comments from people that they're like surprised to learn that like discipline and scheduling and time management is very, very, very difficult for me. But it is. And so writing the book is stretching me and my habits. Yes, there is a naked gardener.
Heat-resistant tomato? I don't know.
There is one that Baker Creek sells called...
We didn't plant it.
Yeah, actually, I didn't plant it. Abu Rowan, I think. I can't remember. It's Abu something. But it's one of the ones that's supposed to be heat resistant. And also, man, the Arkansas Traveler is the healthiest plant of all of the ones that I planted first. Thank you, Just Living. I appreciate that so much. No, I don't grow all of my home natural medicine. I use a lot of essential oils that obviously I don't grow. Those are grown indigenously. And then I do grow, some herbs, and I harvest some herbs and put them up. But a lot of the stuff that I use, I just purchase bulk. And then like I figured out where all the elderberry was around here when it was blossoming. And so I'm going to harvest all of the elderberry that I can. But previously I've just bought that stuff, and I'll buy the bulk herbs and stuff and then make things out of them. But no, I don't grow all that. Fishes and loaves. Yeah, I've thought about you multiple times after losing your dad and your aunt. I hope that you're doing okay. Grief is a hard thing. You really have to give yourself time. The Honeystead. Tomatillos are really, really good. Mine are not setting a lot of fruit right now. I don't know why, but yeah, Four Blessings Farm. Jeremiah uses a lot of deep blue.
Yeah, you'll go through that sample and then you'll be figuring out how to get yourself some.
Yeah, we use a lot of that.
Yeah, actually, next month I think we're gonna buy like just a tub.
The huge thing of it.
So big.
How long does it take for a new tomato plant to adapt to your climate? I don't really know. Like I would really like to start saving seeds off my healthiest plant and just save my seeds. But this year I didn't really save any seeds. I didn't do a lot of isolation because I just have so many seeds. But I would think that you would need to save them off your plant for multiple generations before you start to get some of the adaptation. But I've not worked with that. But I have noticed that using the ones that, like the Missouri Pink Love Apple, the Arkansas Traveler, the ones that really developed for southern regions, they're really standing up to the heat and humidity a little better than some of the ones that were developed elsewhere. How long can tomatoes last, ones that you grow in your yard or on your farm? You mean just like nothing done to them? Like you pull it out from outside and you bring it in the house? They just ripen like any fruit would, and then they get to a point of being overripe after a week or two, like probably not even 2 weeks, probably a week or so. One of the reasons why homegrown like heirloom tomatoes are so awesome is because what you get at the store has been bred and hybridized in order to be able to withstand shipping and shelf times. And so they really bred for uniformity and not being ones that crack and not being ones that deform a lot and not being ones like, that's why you go into the store and all the tomatoes are the same size and shape. They were probably picked underripe so that they could get shipped to the store and have time on the shelf because they needed to be able to sell them. And so that's why the flavor is so disappointing, is because they don't taste the same. But if you let something ripen in your yard, you might only have 3 or 4 days from when you pick it to eat it at its prime. But you're never going to get something like that in the store because they could not feasibly get it from the grower to the shelf in a 3-day period. Yes, Catherine Holcomb, your seeds will stay good for years. Just keep them as cool and dry as possible. And Luke from In My Gardener did an experiment once where he grew some 87-year-old seeds that someone had sent him in a shadow box.
Yep.
That's pretty crazy.
Basically, every year that they're older, their germination can go down a percentage.
Yeah,
but you could just plant a ton and get
a
lower percentage germination and split them up.
I think he sprouted the whole pack.
How long can tomatoes last that you grow in your yard or your farm? Like just sitting on the counter? Is that?
Yeah, I answered that.
Oh, did you? Okay.
How is Boomer and the alpacas? My mom said she sees Sherry asking. I didn't see Sherry, but hey, Sherry. They're doing great. Boomer is really great.
Boomer's doing good.
Today, my aunt and uncle came over, and they came up from South Arkansas to visit, and we went out and visited all the alpacas. I took them and introduced them to them, and they thought it was the coolest thing. They took lots of pictures and stuff.
Tori was giving kisses and letting people rubberneck. They're all really starting to get more.
Oh, today, Marley and Amber both came up and were letting us pet on them and rub on them, which was really awesome.
And Sweetheart was just being herself.
Yeah, she was just being a mess. She's so funny. Like, she is not warming up, but like I don't know. She's not at all mean to us, but she won't come up to us, but she's just really funny. She has so much personality. But then we went to the back and everybody's kind of hanging out, and alpacas come up and meet everybody. And then Boomer, just out of nowhere, just lays down, and he's just sunbathing. But everybody who isn't sure what's going on is like, is he okay? Because he's just laying there, like right next to us. And I was like, oh, yeah, he's fine. He just loves laying out in the sun. And are you sure? Like, is everything okay? And Bear, at that point, my dog, went over, and I was like, yeah, Boomer's going to hop up in a second as soon as he realized Bear's getting close to him. And sure enough, Boomer did hop up. Like, I
think Contender got spit in the eye a couple weeks ago.
Yes.
Because his eye started
we had to doctor his eye.
This like if you
it was just watering a lot.
Watering a lot. And so what I did is I finally went out there when I was feeding him and haltered him like the day after it happened.
And trimmed his hair.
Back with some trimmers, and then I washed it, and then it cleared up.
Yeah, it was fine. I think that he might have got spit.
I think it was spit. That's one thing I could think of because he didn't poke it on it. There was no
damage.
Debris or damage around it. It was just irritated. So
that was our first thing.
I know, it was kind of freaking me out because Jessica was out of town, and I was like, oh my gosh, his eye.
That's the first thing that we've had to help with the alpacas. They've been so easy. That's the first thing that was wrong.
I say that too. We're about to do their monthly regimen for worm prevention.
Yeah.
So that'll be fun.
Yeah. Okay, Sarah Geller. Abu Rawin, that's it. Holds up to the heat. They're a bit on the smaller side. Thank you, Sarah, for that information, and thank you also for the super chat. But that's it. That's the name that I couldn't think of. I know that Ben Vinson from VW Family Farm had talked to Baker Creek about heat-tolerant varieties to grow in his greenhouse, and they had told him Abu Ron, and then I think the other one was Granny Cantrell's or Cantrell. Those were the two that they said that were heat tolerant. And then I've noticed with the Arkansas Traveler.
Have you ever made tomato juice?
Yeah, I've not done tomato juice. I could. You like that one thing that you make with tomato juice. What do you do with the excess goat's milk? Andrew Littlefield.
Take baths. film it, or not film it, photograph it with like lace and flowers floating. Milk baths is a real thing.
We did a milk bath for a goat once as a joke for maternity photos.
Don't act like you didn't want to get in it yourself. You were like, that looks real moisturizing.
It was in a trough.
I'm just saying.
If I ever am to the point of excess, I will make mozzarella. If I'm ever to the point of excess and I don't have time to do anything with it, I'll put it on my dog's food because it's really good for their skin. No, Heather, we cannot rub Boomer's belly. We haven't tried.
Rub? I don't rub their bellies. What I do is they're
herd animals.
Well, Sharon told me some things to do. So what I do is I turn the hose on, and then they'll come up and stand, and then I
spray under their bellies.
Just wash underneath their bellies, and they just stand there like. Ooh.
Like that. Herd animals, you have to keep in mind like their mentalities, and you don't ever want to make them feel threatened. And like for a prey animal, their bellies are like really sensitive areas. And so like goats don't really like you touching their bellies a lot. Like you can touch the side of them, but if you get up in the undercarriage of like a goat or a horse or an alpaca, like that's just not a comfortable thing mentally for them because that's a very vulnerable place for them. Now,
yes. Can you make soap with goat's milk?
Yeah, absolutely. It's great.
We don't because we're not set up for that, but we will eventually.
I just get soap from all my soap making friends, like because I have so many friends that make soap. Meg Holler makes really great soap. I mean, we have so many people to get soap from. The pig, Gerard, he loves belly rubs.
He loves head rubs.
Yeah, and you can get up on his side and stuff, and he likes that.
And belly rubs.
Jolynn and Lucy can't wait to see the alpacas. I know. Will you remember to message Joe and Jessica and set up dinner time?
Yes.
Yes. Okay. We need to set that up.
Did you ever respond to Roland and his wife?
No, we need to respond to them too.
Okay, now that we've got that out of the way, let's get back to the wife.
JP's doing great. Like Ben Turn is spoiling her. She's got it made in the shade.
And it's worked perfectly because I don't think his dad watches these videos, so we can talk about it. But his goal was to kind of soften his dad up to getting other animals, and his dad's like kind of helping take care of JP. Like it's like Ben Turn right now is Emma Gardner.
Yeah. Hey, Luke.
Is out of town right now doing jujitsu. He fights jujitsu, and he's in a tournament in Dallas right now, which is funny. We took the last tournament he had in Conway. I took all the boys, and we went and watched them fight. And then since then, Ben will just randomly Little Ben will come up. He'll shake Toby or Ezra's hand, and then someone will say fight, and then they jump on each other and hug each other and submit each other, and then they say jujitsu. So it's really funny and cool. But
Ben Turn's dad
is like really turning around like and being like, oh, well, this isn't as hard as I thought it would be. And he's like, I know. So neither would goats or chickens or any of these other animals. So
Dream Pig is being spoiled. It's really good. And it's such a relief to not have her like here where we don't have a place for her.
Emma Gardner, so pizza. Like, I need you to talk to me about pizza right now.
So yeah, y'all, Emma Gardner,
pizza.
Luke and Cindy.
When are we going to Michigan?
Are opening a pizza restaurant, which is the coolest thing. I am so tickled.
That's cooler than anything we're doing. Sorry.
So
That's
cool.
just freaking straight up cooler than anything we have going.
It's awesome. So yeah, I know. Jeremiah's like, when are we gonna go to Michigan? I was like, it's not even open yet. Like, if we're gonna go visit, we can go visit after the pizza restaurant's open. Nicole Gaffney, are alpacas profitable or more like just fun pets? Well, you do shear them for fiber, and their fiber can sell for a pretty good amount of money. Also, their manure is good for the garden. What I'm finding is that they're really not super expensive animals to keep. The most expensive thing for them is their like monthly medicines, like because they have to be dewormed monthly. But honestly, and I'm sure that like if something happened and you needed to call a vet out, that could get expensive. But of course, with any animals like that, you can sell you can breed them and sell the babies. And there are not a ton of alpacas in the country, so there still is a demand for them. But for us, we'll be able to get some money back for them. And with everything we keep on our farm, we typically try to make it pay for itself for the most part. Like, it's not necessarily for a profit. And I think that we'll be able to make them pay for themselves, but I've just wanted them for a really long time. And so it's kind of both. It's more so wanting them as pets. What do you think you eat the most by volume weight from your garden? What do you get the most bang for your buck in the garden for your family? Probably tomatoes would probably be it, just because to purchase the tomatoes like the ones that I grow is like $5 to $6 a pound if I were to go to like Whole Foods or something like that, or go buy them at a farmer's market. So as far as like money goes and what we save, I would say growing heirloom tomatoes, it would just be really expensive otherwise. As far as like growing stuff that is the most like offsetting as far as the grocery bill goes, you know, really tomatoes and then squash whenever I can get them to grow and it's not terrible pests.
Cucumbers do pretty good.
Cucumbers do really, really well here.
Massive producers.
Okra is a massive producer. I mean, we're eating okra daily right now.
And if you don't harvest it daily, it gets too big.
Yeah. And so those things will probably be it. I haven't grown tons of potatoes, but like you could grow potatoes.
Can you direct sow their poop? Yes, naked gardener. That's one benefit of the alpacas. It's a cold manure, so you can just willy-nilly.
Yeah, Luke actually just said alpacas are great for the garden. They are. You can
maybe Luke needs a couple of alpacas for his little community garden thing out behind his house, and then we can drive up there and get some pizza. Just saying. I have good ideas.
Single Dad said that's just the alpacas are just the way that you say that I'm your queen. My darling. Whenever Benjamin was like 2, Jeremiah taught him to come up to me, and Benjamin would come up to me and he would say, my beautiful, my darling, my love. It was right. So cute. But Jeremiah would say that to me all the time. And so Benjamin would say it whenever Chris said I'm Jeremiah's queen. It made me think of that. My darling. We still say that.
Wild Homestead. We're moving to Arkansas. Where exactly in Arkansas are you moving to?
Don't give Jeremiah any ideas. He'll try to sell you our house.
Now a couple of places. 2 properties to be exact. Roughly about 7 acres.
Oh, Luke said he'll trade a few dozen pizzas for a few loads of alpaca manure. Do you deliver?
Do you deliver?
Deal. We truck up to Michigan with like loads of alpaca manure in the back. We get pulled over. They're going to be like, why are you transporting this fertilizer? Thinking that we're doing something crazy.
I don't think it's illegal to transport poop.
No, it's not.
Unless it was chicken manure, then you could be taking it to make bombs.
Right.
Don't think I'm joking. I'm not.
Bye, Ethan. We love
Hector,
y'all so
Arkansas.
much. We can't wait to see y'all soon.
Is Hector close to Valenia?
I don't know where that is.
I'm
not familiar with Hector. We'll be seeing Ethan and Sarah soon. Who all is going to the Life Conference? Doug and Stacy's conference.
We're going to the Life Conference.
Yes, we're going to be there. It's just in a couple of weeks, so I'm curious who all we're going to get to meet. I don't eat a lot of cucumber sandwiches, to be honest. I need to get on that. I think it's just cream cheese and cucumbers is what most people do. I have a lot of cucumbers right now, though. That would be
Bye, the Ethan.
Is Single Dad homesteading out too? Somebody said bye to him.
I don't know.
Well, if so, bye, Chris.
Yeah, I didn't see it.
Well, Wild Homestead, that's really good. Welcome to Arkansas. This is a really fantastic place. The Get Up Live. I'm not doing that.
Life Conference.
Yeah, the Life Conference.
Oh, no, we're definitely not doing the Get Up Live.
We're talking about the possibility of doing it in this video, but Hector is close to Dover up by Russellville.
Oh, so that's close enough. Have you looked in this area? See that meat there? That's for you.
So that's not far from us. Yeah, that's really cool. We'll definitely be in the same growing zone. You'll be dealing with the same stuff as us. The family flips. So I was talking to Joe earlier, but Joe and Jessica have been putting out a lot of vlogs. Joe is commenting. He's got a ranch. He's one of our moderators, but also one of our friends. here in Arkansas, one of our local friends. But he and his wife, Jessica, have got a YouTube channel, and they have been putting out a lot of content lately. And I think that you guys should go check them out. Jessica was on a video of mine a little while ago. She went up to Seattle with me to Shay's place in April. And several people asked then, hey, does your friend have a YouTube channel? But I don't think that they were putting out a lot of content at that point. They really started putting a lot out. And they do, bless you, they do like reselling. And it's, I don't know, if anybody's like looking for side hustles and kind of learning how to be entrepreneurial and earn money on the side, like what they're doing with reselling is really interesting. So definitely go support them.
Luke wants to know, do you guys get used to the heat, or does it affect you the same? Never see you avoid the heat.
Largely you get used to it.
Largely you just acclimate to it.
Like today we were outside. We were outside today and it was like close to 100 degrees.
You can bear it in...
No, you can't be stupid. Like,
you can take it in doses. You can't...
In doses. Like, we don't go out at 2 PM and try to like work really hard in the sun, because that would be dumb. Oh, no, it just pulled in.
Oh, cool.
But yeah, so I think you just kind of get used to it to a certain measure. When I go out in the morning at 6:30, it's 80 degrees. And so it's really unavoidable. If you're going to do anything, if you're going to garden, you're going to garden when it's hot. But like I go out at 6:30 and I'm done by 9. And then I go out again at like 7:30 and I stay out until dark. Like I garden early in the morning and late in the evening. And that's actually why you don't see a lot of videos of me actually working in the garden, because, I only have short little windows to actually get the work done without it being scalding hot. And people ask me that. They're like, why don't you ever video the actual work? And I'm like, because I have an hour and a half to do it without having a heat stroke. And so videoing anything makes it takes 2 or 3 times as long. Marie, what kind of Vans did you get your daughter on her birthday? She chose the solid black with white sole slip-ons. We actually have a Vans store in the mall here, so we just went there and she got to choose whichever one that she wanted, and that's what she chose. Cool. Somebody was asking about the family flips, but right there, they just commented. They're one of our moderators. These are some of our friends, Joe and Jessica. So
Kitten
you
George
can
is
just
an outside cat only.
So you can just click on their thing and go see their channel and subscribe to them and give them some love. And yes, Kitten George is outside only. Do you enunciate the last S in Arkansas? No, you don't.
No.
It's Arkansas.
Unless you're not from Arkansas.
In which case you call it Arkansas. And you're as wrong as I am when I say Dr. Witchies.
Malia goes back right after our camping trip.
Guys.
The 30th.
Yep.
She flies out Monday morning.
What time is it? 7:53. Oh, so you just answered that. The older I get, the less I can take the heat or the cold. I am really bad at handling the cold. Like, I do not like to be cold at all. I actually stay inside, which is so funny because Luke like avoids the hot. And literally, like, whenever we went to Homesteaders of America, it was October, and I think it was probably like 45 to 50 degrees. No, it was probably like 45, and it was windy. And I'm literally wearing like multiple layers, sweater, coat, hat, like bundled up. No, I don't think I had a hat on at that point. And Luke's just in a t-shirt. And I'm like freezing my butt off, and he's in a t-shirt. So it's just the opposite, you know, because he's used to Michigan where it's actually cold. Here, when it's a little cold, I'm
Minnie Pearlsman, do you ever straighten your hair? Of course I do. Do you ever straighten your hair?
My hair is actually permed. My hair is actually naturally straight. So,
But you're not re-perming it.
I'm not re-perming it. I've decided that. I'm going to let it grow out.
Also, Two Family put us on the spot about August 12th being a guest on their show,
Yes.
which is right before the live conference.
No, it's right after the live conference.
No, right before we go to Denver.
That's not the day we're flying out.
No, we're flying out Wednesday.
Okay. Then yeah,
It'll be that Monday.
that would be fun.
Yeah.
Do you have a timeline for finding a new property, or is it just a maybe one day type of thing of little and light?
It's not maybe a one-day type of thing.
It will definitely be someday. we will not live here anymore.
Sooner rather than later.
Sooner rather than later. Our timeline is that we're actually about to start remodeling our house. And once our house is remodeled, then we will put it on the market. So I don't know. Yeah, we're almost done. So I don't know how long that will take. But yeah, it's kind of bittersweet.
Has Jeremiah ever had a mullet? Is there a photo proof nearby? No.
No, but I did see your mullet bobblehead.
Yeah.
I saw the pictures that you posted, and that was pretty legit.
Was that a political statement, or what exactly was that? Giving Ben a bath or something? I don't know.
Nicole Gaffney said, "Where are you guys moving?" I moved from Michigan to Florida, trying to learn to garden in a whole new climate.
Not sure.
We're not sure yet, but it won't be Florida. I don't know if I can handle it. Yeah, we don't have anything nailed down yet. We actually have several things kind of up in the air right now. Bye, guys. We love you. We're almost done. Jeremiah's brother just came by and dropped the kids off. So, will you cry leaving your garden behind? Absolutely.
Yeah,
I've
for
cried
sure.
multiple times thinking about it.
We take all your animals. We're not taking any fowl. We're taking the ruminants, so the alpacas, the goats, the pigs, the horses, the dogs, and the cats.
Not all of those are ruminants, but we are taking the ruminants. And then also the other ones as well.
They understood what I was saying.
Yep.
Move to Australia. Well, if that was the case, we would not be taking any of them. Go over there and get us some koala. Can you milk a koala? What about kangaroo? What do y'all milk over there?
What if someone would want to buy your property as is?
I would entertain it.
We would entertain it. But, I mean, here's the thing is we were actually talking to some people that came in from Seattle that were asking about
that's right. Yeah.
our property. And, for some places in the country, like, property values are really cheap here. So, like, we could realistically sell our property as is for something that would be really cheap to some people, but it's still, we still do have a lot in it. So, yeah, there would be an as is price, but we're going to.
So, if you're wondering, just email us, and if we don't respond, it's probably because it wasn't good enough.
That's not true. So tacky.
I can't help it.
The other thing is we have to figure out where we're going to. So if somebody was like, "Hey, I'll make you an offer."
It's a lot of logistics, but it's not undoable. It's doable. It's not impossible. But I can't say for sure because, like I said, we don't have a place to go to yet. But if we had a legitimate offer on this place, that would definitely help us look at where we're going.
Gail Elwood said, "Move to North Carolina. Some of the best live here." I do agree with your statement. Some of the best really do.
Some of the best what?
Live in North Carolina.
Some of the best who? People?
Yeah, that's true. We have some sweet friends in North Carolina. Why do we want to move? Honestly, we don't have enough space here to do everything that we want to do. And we have a lease next door, but the lease is just for our horses and it's not contracted. There's no guarantee. Like that guy could change his mind and then we wouldn't have anywhere to put our horses and we would be tapped out on our property and not know where to go. Like we would have to work it out. The other thing is we live right on the street. And once we hit probably 60 or 7,000 subs on YouTube is when strangers started to show up at our house regularly and make comments online about, "Hey, I found out where you live by driving around," and different stuff like that. And
you'd have to have a killer pizza shop for us to move to Michigan. It would have to be like, I take a bite, I pass out, wake up, and be like, "What happened?" For 3 days because the pizza literally put me in a coma. So good. Because I have no desire to live in winter. Winter is not my thing. It's not my jam.
He said we need land, freedom, perfect seasons, and lots of pizza. That does sound like a really nice
land, freedom, America.
Yeah. So I don't know exactly what we're gonna do. We don't have a definitive plan nailed down. We don't have a place nailed down. the truth is that God's going to have to work some details out because logistically, like the idea of moving and starting over is very, very overwhelming. But what size of property are we wanting? No less than 20 acres. Like that would be on a bare minimum.
If God was gonna like really show out, like 100 acres.
Yeah,
like if God was really gonna be
like what we would ideally love to be able to do is have enough space to like run cattle and like really have our forever place. We want like a lot more, but we need 20 acres to have the animals that we have now. They are accepting of mullets here.
I don't have a mullet. Bobblehead has a mullet.
Had a mullet.
Daddy, can I take a shower?
You
You
just
just
took
took a bath, homie.
I just took a shower too.
Oh my gosh, you crazy boy. All right.
I'm gonna take a shower again.
No.
But I think I'm going to shower.
Go.
Come here, Benjamin. Come here. Come sit. Honestly, okay, my ideal garden, which this is going to be the coolest thing, having like true idea of starting from scratch is very exciting to me. Hey, sit back. Sit back. Benjamin just took a bath. Doesn't he look clean? Look at him. He's so clean. I'm really excited about the idea of starting over and what I know now about gardening and being able to apply that. It's going to be different. I'm actually going to do some different things. Like, for instance, I would love to have my garden very similar style, but right by my house. Like, I would like to be able to like walk out, have a big front porch, and like have my garden right there. And then also we're going to like immediately put in an orchard. Like that's going to be first things first. And then like asparagus, rhubarb, like berry bushes.
Like, we'll get all the perennials in like first thing.
Yeah. Now that I know what I know, there will be things different. So anyway, I'll
trade you a cheesecake for my 2 cheesecake pans in Hamble. I can probably find the cheesecake pans, but you said something about towels in the text message that I missed. I don't know where those towels went. So,
what towels? Text me, Sherry. I'll find those things.
You'll find the 2 specific towels?
I will look for them.
We'll just buy new towels. Seriously.
Oh, cool, Luke. Y'all are home hunting and looking for...
Hunting too and beginning the search for some acreage here too. Oh, so he does need alpacas. So, and my garden is about to break into that homesteading niche, not just the gardening niche. That's pretty good. I'd watch that. You seem like a little bit of a city guy. You know what I'm saying?
You better quit giving him a hard
watch
time.
Luke wrestle some pigs.
I think they would be awesome homesteaders.
I do, but I didn't say they wouldn't be awesome. I said I would enjoy to watch the process.
They want chickens. Yeah, you'll do great with that. That's exciting. I'm excited to watch you guys like build a place from scratch.
I don't know where Ben gets his blonde hair from.
We were both blonde when we were little.
Yeah, but we ain't blonde now.
No, he is very blonde though. Jackson and Toby were both blonde and their hair has darkened a lot. All right, we need to wrap this up because Maya's brother is here and we want to say bye to them. So thank you guys. I'm not from Michigan, Marie. I'm from Arkansas. I'm born and raised in Arkansas.
Pepperoni.
Heirloom Permaculture said, hi, Noah. Noah. He didn't hear me. He's back there. All right. Thank you guys so much for hanging out with us today. We love chatting with y'all. We could literally sit here and talk to you for hours, so we really just have to cut it off.
833 people.
That's awesome. Crazy. Thank you guys. We love you. We bless you, and we just appreciate you more than we can possibly say. Why are we saluting? Good night.